out again. Like we said earlier last time, if you guys have any viewer questions, go ahead and throw them up. We'll be sure to get to them a little bit later. And then, of course, we're going to talk to them about a couple specific topics. One being the article that was written about them in Complex when they found a bunch of Supreme blanks at the at Kmart. Another one is we're going to talk about their store, Vice, in Iowa City. And then 3, we're going to talk about when Roy Purdy, the famous Roy Purdy, came to their store and shopped, and I think Famous Dex was there too. And I know he's bought a couple things from them. And then another thing is with the Supreme blanks, they've made some pretty dope like Supreme bootleg tees and stuff. So we're going to talk about that.
Yep, so it looks like Iowa Thrift just joined us. They're going to request to go live with us here in just a moment. We appreciate everyone's patience.
Yeah, guys, again, throw those viewer questions up. Damn, what the hell just happened? Oh, you know what? Flip the camera. There you go.
All
Better?
right. Yes,
Yeah.
a lot better.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm on the LTE instead of the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is kind of shitty here for today.
Are you guys at the store right now?
Yeah. 2 of us are at the store right now.
Cool.
Can you give us like a little walkthrough of the shop?
Real quick, just before we start.
Yeah, for sure.
Introduce yourself, and then Demetrius. You said Tony is out today, right?
Yeah, he's out sick today.
Cool, no worries. So just introduce yourselves, and then if you guys don't mind, just give us a quick walkthrough of the store. The shop last week did that, and like people loved it. So yeah, just flip the camera and show people around the store if you don't mind.
Awesome, yeah. So for starters, my name is Peter. Our other owner is Demetrius. I'll have him introduce you guys here in a second. He's downstairs. But I'll flip the camera around, and this is like, as we first walk in, oh, there's Demetrius. As we first walk in, we got a big like graffiti wall that one of our buddies did.
Yeah,
we got some kind of some fan art that he's got. And then we had some, Demetrius did this with the old Nerf guns.
Hey.
Put them up like a armory and some shit, and old dope-ass old Nike posters. So that's like as you first walk in, and you come up the steps. We got the checkout cash wrap right here. Cool Nike posters in the back. Come over to the shoe wall.
A pretty good little sneaker collection.
And then we got another display case here with some of like the higher end shoes in it. The Yeezys, Off-White, stuff like that. All the old vintage Iowa stuff. Supreme on this rack. And what was really cool, we were able to like Demetrius drew all the stuff on the walls and like a bunch of artwork up there. Made a little skateboard holder right through here. Some high-end vintage on this rack. Band tees, hype rack. And the back 2 rooms are all vintage stuff. We got hella toys and movies.
Oh, I love it.
Coming through here. And then the back room, like Demetrius went pretty crazy with drawing stuff, like stuff from the Space Jams.
That's so sick.
Yeah, shit on the wall. Like this is probably one of my favorite things in the store. This Scrooge McDuck that he drew on the wall. And like I think that is absolutely perfect. Like that shit is...
I mean, Christmas is right around the corner, my friend.
Yeah. Yeah, that is dope.
Awesome. How long have you guys been there?
We've been here since February 17th is when we opened.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, I remember when you guys bought it, I was like so hyped. It was awesome.
Oops, and flip this around. Yeah, thanks, man. We were able to like rip everything up. We kind of got this place, and it was a mess. Like it used to be a what was it? A old
the mosque.
Yeah, it was a mosque for the Iowa City like mosque building.
I think it was office space, and they used it as like a homeless shelter temporarily. But dude, when we first got in here, it was really hard for us to envision this being a retail space. We almost walked away and said we can't do it.
Yeah, we had to knock out a couple walls and like we had to cut. Let's flip this around.
Dude, that's right. I remember that actually.
We had to cut a bunch of shit down out through these 2 sections, and it was originally going to be like this was still a wall right here too.
Right.
So we had to knock that guy down, and it was originally going to be like this front office was going to be like our back stock area, and then have just like separate rooms with different things in them. But like that was a terrible like floor layout, so had to knock some stuff down and go to town on it.
What was the deciding factor to go with it? I mean, you guys were saying that you were about to walk away from it. What was that reason why you stayed?
Oh, well, all right. So we before we had the deadline on signing the lease, so we kind of just had to take a risk. We were like, all right, we don't know if this will work or not, but we were able to work it out in our like lease agreement to make it like reasonable enough for us to take a risk on it. So we had a deadline. I think we had to sign it by New Year's Eve. Yeah, we had to sign by New Year's Eve before midnight. It was like a big decision. Like, all right, so do we sign this shit?
New Year's Eve decision. I'd be like, can I like?
Yeah, I think we signed it like before we went out.
Yeah, we signed it,
like
and
10
then
o'clock
we went out, and then the next day we met here and we started doing stuff. It's been a journey, man.
Mm-hmm. And also, like our landlord came into one of our pop-ups and kind of just like helped us out a lot too, and gave us like I think it was like the first 3 months were only like $250 or something like that, just to help us out.
Oh no, we didn't pay anything.
Or we didn't pay anything for the first 3 months.
We had the first 3 months.
It was like construction stuff.
Sometimes you can work out agreements. And for everyone watching, like if you're wondering about opening a store, you can ask them. We'll give you some advice. But a lot of times, like if you find a spot that maybe isn't so like appealing to you right off the bat, and you have to put in a little bit of work, just like you guys did, you'll be able to work out some kind of agreement where you can get like a discounted rent or even
and he said like a thousand. I think he gave us $1,000 credit like towards upkeep and stuff like that, construction, and just like to help out. So he really liked what we were doing with it. I think he's like our age or maybe a year older than us, but he's he really liked what we were doing and wanted to help out in any way he could. So helped us out with that big time.
Whenever you come across like a deal like this, make sure that it's good. Like that's why we're sharing this knowledge for anyone watching. Like to know that you don't want to get screwed over in a deal like this. So to kind of negotiate to where there's a good balance, and you can get the space you need, and then they can get a tenant as well. But I know that I think it's on both pages, right? If someone were to scroll, that you guys would have those original photos of when you started construction.
Yeah. If you look at our Vice page, like if you go back to the beginning, you can see where we're just in here, like with stuff laying around everywhere. Like you really can actually watch the whole thing. That's the cool thing is we haven't had to. Like the building sort of fits with everything that we're doing. We can totally be ourselves. You know what I mean? We don't have to make it seem like we got a lot of money. Like this is what you see. You know what I mean? And people actually really like it. It's actually cooler than having had a big place built out and stuff. Like the story is really intriguing to people, and they get a kick out of like just talking to us about it.
And did you guys do a lot of the build out and everything yourselves?
Yeah.
When we the carpet and like tore up the carpet, put up the shelving.
Yeah.
I think we just made like a Facebook post on Facebook about like, hey, does anybody know how to knock down walls? Right. And sure enough, like a couple people that Tony went to high school with had reached out and just like, we can do that. And I think we paid them maybe $400 or $500. It was pretty cheap.
I
think
that's cool too. Yeah.
I think when we started, because we didn't have a lot of money when we started. I think as far as inventory goes, like each one of us had our own inventory because we were selling individually before this. But I think we brought all our stuff in together and we bought like a $500 buyout, which was like a couple Supreme items and some Jordan, like 3 pairs of Jordans. And we just started with that and just started like, flipping that money like to what you see today, basically. But yeah,
that's dope. One of the spaces we had a cool like a warehouse space for 3 months, and we're not like handy at all. So when we first got it, we did a very similar thing where we just like contacted some people we knew, made some Facebook posts, and had some of our friends come out, do the building that we needed. And what was good about that is just like you were saying, we were able to like give them a little bit of money, give them some work, and get it done. So again, it's about that trade-off.
Right. No, totally. The people that you know on an everyday basis, like you may not know what they do, so it's good to just talk to people, man. You never know who you might be sitting by on the bus, or you know what I mean, or who you might run into at the grocery store. I'm always interested in like who I meet and like the reason for our interaction. You know what I'm saying? I try to like just talk to people and just see. You know what I mean? Because that's how we've grown. You know, is through random relationships that we've developed. You know, and people just coming together and being willing to help us because they like what we're doing.
Okay. Oh. So I know, Pete, I know that you have the Iowa Thrift page. Before you guys had the Vice page, Demetrius and Tony, did you guys have other pages as well that you still have?
I have a page, a Kick It page, where
I saw that too. That you started like a sneaker, like a trading convention or something.
Yeah, that's actually how we all met too.
Yeah.
He started the he did a event last August called Kick It, and we all met back there. Or we met, it was that event. We just kind of came together and just like we saw that like Iowa City really, really needed like a store like this, and like I think the vintage sellers were some of like the highest sellers of the day. And he had asked me about it, and then Tony was moving back from California, I think in October, and to try and open one by himself. Right. And he said, like, 3 people are going to be better than one. Like, let's do this 3 ways, and it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, we just all happened to have like it just worked out. Where Tony knew a decent amount about vintage, Peter knew a bunch about vintage and Supreme, and then I know a lot about sneakers, and like. Collectively, we know like everything that we need to know to like make this ship go,
Yeah.
Nice. Well, that's so dope. Well, it sounds like it's a pretty cool story. And honestly, this has been like a really cool intro or whatever. And you guys seem like really easy to talk to. So we're going to kind of just dive right in, get some questions, and then later we'll touch on for sure I know Roy Purdy came to y'all's shop, right?
Yep.
That's dope. And then we're going to talk about the whole Supreme blank thing, and then you guys doing like the custom Supreme tees. But yeah, real quick, the couple first questions we kind of touched on, but we'll just let you guys like elaborate a little bit and just also go back over it just for anyone who's jumping in now. But just kind of run us through both of you guys, and then since Tony's not here, just name, age, and then I guess tell us the backstory of how you all met and then coming together of the store.
Okay. My name is Peter Krogel. I'm 29 years old. And kind of just how I got into this was just kind of, it was around, I think 2009, and it just started with shoes. And it was more the fact that I could see, I could buy 2 pairs of shoes that I wanted, sell 1 pair and get like the second pair for free almost, just because of how like and like the shoes that were selling out on the coast were sitting in the Midwest for a couple days. So you could easily walk in there, buy one, sell it, come back to, 2 or 3 days later and buy it again. And then, get it for free essentially. So that's kind of what got me into it. So I was getting shoes for cheap, and then that just kind of snowballed into like vintage stuff and like going to Goodwills. I think it was 2014 or 15. I saw a post that Sean Weatherspoon had made on Instagram about just like finding a cool shoe at a Goodwill. And I lived, I think, like 2 miles from a Goodwill. So I was like, let's see, what this Goodwill has. And that snowballed. Like I can still remember the first shoe that I bought for $25 and sold for $100. And it's just kind of gone from there.
What did you buy?
Jordans or something?
No, actually it was a Oh, no, not 99. I think it might have been a 2001 or 2002 Air Max 95. It was a pink, white, and gray one or something like that. And it was a harder shoe to get, and like a lot of the guys wanted it, but it was a women's only shoe. And I think it was a size 11 or a size 12. So it went pretty quick on eBay.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. And then how about you, Demetrius?
So my name is Demetrius Perry. I'm 31. I am from Iowa City, and I got started. I've always been into sneakers. I've always thrifted and stuff. I didn't necessarily sell any of my stuff until, I would say, I don't know, like 2007, 2008. I had a bunch of cool shoes up until that point, though, and then I started to sell it. My first job was at a shoe store. Before working here, I worked at a local sneaker shop. I managed that for years. So, I've just sort of been doing what I'm doing for a while. What's up, Ray? We just had some customers come in. What's up, man? How's it going?
Oh, you're all good.
See you guys.
Hey, happy almost birthday. Actually, man. What's up, man? How's it going? But yeah, I've just been into it for a while, and then from working at a shop, I understood what it took to actually run a shop. So I wanted to go off and do my own thing. We happened to just like meet, and it was perfect timing, you know. A little story about the Vice name. So Vice stands for Vintage Iowa City Exchange.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, Peter.
I saw that one time. That's so because I forgot that until you just mentioned it. But yeah, it seems okay, right.
So when I was setting up my sneaker event, I was reaching out to vendors trying to get people to be vendors at my event, and I saw some vendor, and you know, you click on a page and it has suggested people, and Peter was one of those people. And I'm like, oh, no way, there's a guy this close to me with all this crap when I was looking at his page. So I reached out to him. We met up. I think I traded him some baby shoes for something right away.
Yeah, we traded some shoes. Yeah,
and, you know, while we were talking, I was explaining to him my idea of doing a pop-up after the Kick It Expo. And, you know, eventually wanted to do a store. And Peter, that's when he told me the name Vice. And, you know, at the time, like, you know, I took it in or whatever. I thought it was super cool. And after like a couple of days, I think I hit him up and I was like, you know, I really, really feel like that's it, man. I think we got to do it. And you out here?
Have a good one, guys.
Good to see you. Yeah. You guys take care. I was like, you know, I think we need to make it happen. You know, I felt it, you know, like, man, it just feels right, you know, and, you know, through enough convincing, we were able to, you know, I was able to get him to shut his Iowa Thrift down kind of and start Vice.
How about Tony? How old is he?
Tony is 28.
I think so.
Yeah, Tony's 28.
Yeah.
Tony was he's from Illinois, but he went to Clear Creek out here, and
yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know too much personal stuff about
it.
We just met kind of almost a year ago.
No, so me and Tony have like some like one of my best friends is Tony's friends from college. Like I've been knowing of Tony for a long time. He was living out in Cali with his uncle, helping him run a catering business, and he started to thrift out there, and he started to collect wrestling tees, and then he saw the market for it, and then he started his page, which was Rebound Vintage, and on his page, if you would go on Rebound Vintage, it would say shop coming to Iowa City soon, and I'm like, man, who the hell is this person trying to start a shop in Iowa City, you know? And I reached out to him like, hey, do you want to be a vendor at Kick It? And he actually flew from Cali into town to come be a vendor, and it worked out great. Like, he made a lot of money, and like Peter said, all the vintage people made the most money. And I was like, I took note of that, and I was like, man, we need to just make it happen, and we did.
Cool, awesome. So, I mean, both of y'all, you're collectors yourselves. I mean, what would be your favorite brand that you go to that you just oftentimes you can't resist not, you know, pulling money out of your pocket and buying it?
I don't know. I'm pretty like I feel like I jump from one ship to the next on some of the stuff. Like before I opened this, like I wore the same pair of pants every day and the same the same pair of gray NMDs, and like after that, like these guys like quickly made me, you know, get some shoes that I could, you know, a little bit more stylish and like some different pants and shit like that. But I wouldn't say that it's just like a certain brand, but just anything that catches my eye that's like cool or different. I usually don't know what I want until I see it. So that's kind of like the way I'll be shopping, and it's just more of I don't know. I guess Nike probably.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to say something similar. You know, I just buy a lot of shoes, and I buy a lot of Jordans, and mainly like the Jordan 1. Like anytime it comes out, I'm like, you know what, I don't need it, and then I end up getting it somehow, you know, every time. So I don't know. I don't know, man. I would have to say it would have to be Jordan brand, just the sneakers, no apparel, no nothing else. But okay. I don't know what it is, man.
What about vintage? You know, are you like a vintage Tommy guy? Are you a polo guy?
With vintage, I'm not. It's not a brand. With vintage, I really like just like nostalgia stuff. You know, things that I could really relate to. old Ninja Turtle shirts, old Cheezosaurus Rex shirts. Actually, I love.
There you go.
I love
Cheezosaurus Rex.
Yeah, I love Cheezosaurus old Cheezosaurus Rex shirts.
Like the food Cheezosaurus Rex. Is that what you said?
Yeah, so macaroni, mac and cheese. There used to be Easy Mac used to have Cheezosaurus Rex was like the logo.
Mascot.
Yeah, it was a mascot for like the mac and cheese. Yeah.
Yep.
So like those old shirts, like stuff like that, like I don't know, I'm really into that. Just random like cool graphics, cool colors.
Yeah.
Nothing in particular. I really like old Nike stuff and old Polo and Adidas. They did a lot of cool stuff that sort of just like crept under the radar or something.
What about you, Pete, for vintage?
Vintage, I would say I like a lot of band tees, and sometimes it's hard wearing them, just because of like, I might not know that much about the band, but I like the T-shirt. So sometimes I'd be conflicted about like wearing a certain shirt because I don't want a diehard Metallica fan to come up and be like, "So what's your favorite Metallica song?" It's that stuff. But yeah, I would say the band T-shirts, and then like anything cool that I can relate to from like my childhood, like a lot of cartoon T-shirts. I like Ren and Stimpy. I had a lot of those. What were some other ones?
Pinky in the Brain.
Yeah, Pinky in the Brain was another one. Dexter's Laboratory was cool. Just like any Pink Panther, like old obscure shit like that. I like a lot. And also, like the harder it is to find and the less of them are, like the more that makes me want it. Like I really like one or two of a kind items.
Have you ever found a Dexter's Lab shirt?
No, not the ones that I'm like looking for. I mean, I've found like ones that have like Cartoon Network logos on them and stuff that are more of like reprints or something like that. But I would like one to just have him say like something to like "Dee Dee, get out of my laboratory" or something like that. And like holding up some like, I don't know, beakers or like test tubes or something would be pretty cool. But no, I haven't found any of those shirts.
That'd be sick.
So I mean, as far as like pop-ups, I know you guys have done it in the past. How frequent do you guys do them?
I would say every other month we end up doing some sort of pop-up. We have one tomorrow, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so we have a pop-up tomorrow. Yeah, if anybody is in our area, it'll be downtown Iowa City at Merge Space. Yeah, if you look on our page, we've made a post about it. But yeah, we've got one tomorrow.
Yep. Do a lot of like, yeah. It's a fashion show that's taking place beforehand, and I think it's in the it's like in the little alleyway right between the buildings, and then after that, like it's in our pop-up is inside right afterwards.
Okay.
Who's the fashion show for?
I think it's just for local brands. I think.
Yeah, it's a festival this weekend, Witching Hour. It's about just exploring the unknown and stuff like that. I think it's related to Halloween, like just this time of year. But the festival is called Witching Hour. It happens every year locally.
Okay.
And they got a fashion show, and they reached out to us trying to.
Sorry, what was that?
For the fashion show, are they walking in costumes?
No, they're not walking in costumes. There's a brand, I think it's Born Leaders United, is the main brand, and then they'll like have some other featured people. I know we'll have like a couple of looks walking, but our main thing is just the pop-up.
Nice. No, I was actually going to ask that next, is if you guys were involved in the fashion show, if you had ever done any before.
Yeah, we've had a couple people reach out to us just to like to get clothes for it, and then they'll just say like so and so is styled by Vice, or you can get this shirt at this location. And then we've also had like people come in to style for photo shoots and stuff, and they'll just tag us in the pictures that they post and stuff like that. And they just are looking for an outfit to wear, and they'll have someone come in and help them pick out a cool outfit or what they're going for, or what they're trying to capture with the look they're going for. So
a lot of the times people don't know how to like put the pieces together, or they don't know that this jacket or this vintage tee can just go with a lot of modern items, normal sneakers and jeans. We try to do that same type of thing where I'm always like posting customer photos, like doing the little fashion shows and stuff, and just basically kind of just showing them how to put the pieces together and whatnot.
No, for sure. We're actually working on a lookbook, which is funny you say that because for that reason, just to show people how to put some of this stuff together, you know what I mean, and sort of inspire the kids around here to get more into vintage.
That's a really cool idea. I mean, if you guys had you know, kind of like a fun type question, if you could pop up anywhere, you know, where would it be? You know, are you thinking somewhere
If
in
we could just open up a shop anywhere,
Not even a
um,
shop. Say you were going to do a pop-up shop for 2 days anywhere in the world next week, and like you have like perfect conditions, you know, like everything's going to go well, and like there's going to be a huge line waiting for you guys to open. Where would you go?
honestly, I would say, man, I don't know. I've recently really wanted to go to Japan, and like they got some really cool
Okay.
stuff over there. You know, some really cool vintage. I'm pretty sure like our Goodwills or Salvation Armies, somebody they're just shipping bulk like like pallets of vintage stuff over there that we don't want. You know what I mean? There's like a ton of cool
Yeah, like
vintage
all
crap
the
over there, dude.
what do they call it? The salvage clothing that like a Goodwill won't put out or something.
Yeah,
Like
they
they
sell it.
buy that stuff up, and it seems like I'm buying a lot of cool T-shirts from like the, you know, the Malaysias, the Taiwans, where like they would be buying pallets of clothing by bulk, and it's just coming right back over here from where it was like donated. It seems like.
Right.
I
don't know
mean,
where I would
man,
pop up
if we
at.
could just pop up anywhere and do a pop up,
I would,
yeah, I mean, I would so anywhere out of Iowa. Like again, Vice stands for Vintage Iowa City Exchange. Like to do a pop up in LA or somewhere big, where
Yeah.
people get to ask like, "Where's Iowa City? What do they have going on?" You know what I mean? Just somewhere where we can just we can get our name out there even more. You know,
I would probably say New York, just because it's like I would want to do like a 48-hour pop up if it was 2 days and have it be open, you know, 24/7. Just because I feel like New York never sleeps. And I would want to do like a
Yeah.
downtown Times Square, you know, right in front of those bleachers type shit, and just have, you know, racks of clothing and security guards around it or whatever. But I feel like that would be really, really cool. Just have like a 48-hour pop up like right downtown in the middle of New York.
yeah.
What's funny is I feel like it's a little bit different in like sneaker culture almost, but I don't know. We've been to like we were at the Round 2 grand opening in Miami, and I've been to like a couple other like events where you're like lining up type thing, and it's pretty cool. I feel like people within like the vintage community are pretty respectful like with your stuff, and you know when we
Yeah.
there's no like I just thought it was going to be like total madness, and like you were saying, like you might have to have like you were saying a bunch of security, and I'm almost thinking like you might just have to have one or two, to be honest. Like I said, like
Yeah.
the general people like are pretty respectful of kind of like this business and what we're doing, especially once you explain it. People are like, "Wow, that's really cool. I didn't even know you could do that." You know?
Yeah.
I would say you're right.
Yeah, people like to respect all the like within the thrift community and everything like that and the resale stuff. So yeah, you're probably right.
So, I mean, y'all opened up shop, you know, actually this shop about 8 months ago. Now, as far as, you know, goals going forward, you know, what would your goals be? Are you looking to possibly expand to another area? Are you looking to just really push the brand here? So what are your all's goals for this store and just your brand in general?
For the store, I would say just probably continued growth here in Iowa City for the time being. We had mentioned or kind of kicked the idea around a couple of days ago about like maybe having schools or not schools, but stores around like the Big Ten in the Midwest or like the Big Ten campuses that don't have them yet. We had thought about that, but still just trying to grow and I mean, I don't know, kind of answer every knock that comes to the door because, you know, you never know what's kind of going to happen. So kind of if the opportunity comes up, maybe see it through for a little bit. And if it doesn't work out, you know, go on to the next one. But yeah, I would say a second store would probably be the goal eventually.
Just becoming like the go-to place in Iowa City, like when there's big concerts and people come to town, like they know about us already. They want to come here, like, you know, to get to that point where like we can like truly say that we've like influenced the culture around here. I think that would be like really exciting when we can turn around and see. We're starting to see it. You know, like you walk around town, you can see people rocking like vintage and Supreme and stuff. Like, you know, so when our footprint is a little more like evident, I think that'll be like a cool thing to see. You know, but yeah, of course, another store. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah, man, I love what you guys are doing. I feel like you're definitely making noise, like in the Midwest in general. And then I love how you guys are just putting for Iowa. I think that's really cool. I feel like a lot of people don't necessarily like have a connection or whatever. My mom moved to a couple years ago, so I try to go up. I try and go up and visit her here and there. I haven't been in a minute, but I promise next time I come up, I'm gonna make the trip and come and see you guys for sure.
Yeah, stop here, man. That'd be awesome.
For sure, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if anybody that's viewing right now have any questions for Vice?
I think there is some. I'm gonna scroll up and find them.
So while he's doing that,
I think there's a couple more questions.
Yeah. So while he's doing it, tell us the story about how you guys found the Supreme prints.
Or the
the prints or the blanks.
Tell us about the blanks, and then run us through some of like the really cool prints that you did, the custom ones.
Okay, so for how we found them is I actually woke up really early that morning. So I'm not sure why, but I saw an article that High Snobity posted, and they had posted it probably like 10 or 12 minutes after like I saw it or something, or before I saw it, and it just said like the Supreme blank spotted at local Kmart or something like that, and I read it and it said that the Kmarts that were going out of business might have those, and there's a Kmart going out of business like right down the street from us.
Right.
So I thought, I'm going to go check it out. And like, I had probably looked through the clothing for like a good 20 minutes and didn't find any of them. And then there were just a bunch of stacked T-shirts like just sitting on a shelf. And I went over and kind of looked through those, and I found one of them, and that just like, my heart started racing like crazy. I ran over and grabbed a cart and just started throwing them in there. I called Demetrius to come over and grab some. I think there were 37 of them total or something like that.
Yeah.
And they were, sorry, what's that?
Grabbed them all?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we grabbed all of them. I think they were $4, and then there was an extra like 30% off or something. Yeah. So we paid, I think, $270 each for them.
Yeah.
And then, a couple weeks go by, made some prints, but then somebody else contacted me on Instagram and said that he had 1,000 of them in California. Wow. So me and another buddy from Colorado got together in Colorado, and then I drove from Iowa to Colorado to Long Beach, and then back in, I think it was 2.5, 3 days.
Yeah.
So it was like we drove out there, gave the guy the money for the shirts, spent the night, and got up the next morning and drove back.
Right.
And then for the the Supreme Seinfeld one, I actually found that one on Instagram, or no, it was on Google Images or something. The original person that made it contacted me through Instagram, and like there were a bunch of comments saying like, "Oh, this guy stole your idea or stole your logo. Like you should sue him." And I got pretty nervous. Like I had never been in that situation where like somebody's going to be suing me for using their shit or whatever, and there was no watermark on it, so I like couldn't figure out who the actual owner was. But we worked through that, and I ended up paying him for every T-shirt that I sold. He got 10% of it, and he was cool with that, and he was happy to see that that his design made it to a T-shirt. That was the Supreme Seinfeld one, and then the second one that I did was the Supreme Cartoon Network one. And I think that one's been the most popular one.
That's the one that was on Dex, right?
Yeah, and I actually got that to him.
The Cartoon Network?
Yeah, Famous Dex had it. I actually got that to him through the guy that made the Supreme Seinfeld logo. He was doing, I think it was like photography for a couple bands out there and a couple like musicians. So that's how he was able to like get that in with Dex and stuff.
That right there almost makes it worth the 10% right there.
It was. Like I told him like it was definitely worth it, because after like that poster or that picture was posted, and with him wearing it and stuff, like it was, the sales like blew up after that, and those sold out pretty quick. I think I might actually only have 1 or 2 left of the Cartoon Networks, and then the other ones were the Super Mario, so it just said like Supreme in the Super Mario font.
Do you have any in store that y'all can put up and show?
I don't have any in store. I had still had a decent amount of them when we opened. It's just that I didn't want to sell them in here because I didn't want anyone to get the idea that we were like printing our Supreme T-shirts or something like that. So it was like, oh, this guy has 200 blank Supreme T-shirts. Like he made these. I mean, what did he make these ones too or something like that? So yeah, that was the What's up, man? How's it going?
Sorry.
So that was that, and the reason why we didn't have them in the store or anything. But yeah, we had a couple other logos that just kind of never made it to print. We wanted to do a Supreme New York license plate, but then those guys ended up doing a jacket like 2 or 3 weeks before we were gonna like print ours or something. So we ended up not doing that. And then I wanted to do one. It was the Wall Street sign in New York, and instead of having it say Wall Street, it would say Supreme Street. But we just had a little bit of issue with the printing. Like we weren't able to get the like the depth. There was a I don't know, indentation in the sign or whatever, and we indentation in the sign or whatever. Indentation in the sign or whatever, and we weren't able to get that like effect in the print, so we just kind of scrapped the idea. But that was that whole process of like finding the shirts and stuff, and it was crazy to find that stuff at Kmart because I had never thought that like that shit would happen here, like in Iowa. I mean, that's a lot of the stuff that's happened to us. Like you'd never think it would happen in Iowa, and then it does.
Right. That's awesome. You remember anything?
Oh yeah. One of them I know was how do you guys deal with basically when you find for heat? I don't know. This one kid basically he wants to know how you decide to sell really good items instead of keeping them. My answer to that is because they're worth it.
Sorry, what was that? Could you repeat the question?
Yeah, this one viewer said, how do you decide to sell really good items instead of
instead of keeping them?
Yeah, my answer is that they're worth money and you're a collector or a seller, so figure it out.
Yeah, it's just kind of like how much. I mean, I usually weigh it whether it's like it's worth and like how much I want it, and if it's like subject matter that I collect. Like there's a couple T-shirts that like I've had that have been expensive that I just have no attachment to them, so it's like this isn't really something I wear or like I like, so I'll just I'll sell that. And then there's other stuff that I like a lot that is actually not worth as much money, or it might not even be worth like $50, but I still wouldn't sell it for $100 just because I like it so much. This hat is one of them. I got this hat. It just says Montana. One of our interns, I think, got it at one of the Goodwills for like $1.50, and I gave him $10 for it. But I wouldn't sell it for $50 because I like it so much.
Yeah.
It's just like stuff like that. And then also it's just I don't know, just weighing like if you have bills that you got to pay and you have if you got a $1,000 bill and you can sell 2 T-shirts to do that, sometimes you just got to do it.
Yeah.
Rock it a couple of times and then sell it. It just depends.
Yep. Wear it a couple of times and hopefully it goes up in value.
Have you ever passed on something you regretted that you didn't pick up? If so, what was it?
Oh, what about the box logo you saw?
Which one?
The CDG.
Oh yeah, shit, man! I was at Stuff Etc. like it was Plato's Closet here in Iowa City, and it was a Supreme Comme des Garçons box logo. It was the T-shirt, and I think it was part 3 or something like that. It was the one that had the digi camo on the back of it or something like that. And I saw it there, and it was $6, and I was like, wait, there's no way this is real. Like, the Supreme's not even like facing the right way. It's backwards. Like the tag's not right. Like there's shit all over the back of it. Like there's no way this can be real. And I left it. And I'm looking back on it. I know it was real. And it was a $6 Supreme box logo T-shirt that probably would have sold at the time for I don't know $300 or $400.
Nah.
Yeah, and now it would probably. I mean, it would be a lot more now. But yeah, that was one of the ones that. Like I saw and I was like, man, and that was like just when I first started getting into Supreme too. So it was like, yeah, I just really kicked myself for not knowing that one.
For sure. The one that just came out, the CDG, the split box logo.
Oh, yeah, with the seam.
I think you might have posted it too, but I remember like I like we don't even like we grab like a couple things here and there, but we're like not too into it. But I remember when that first came out, I was like, oh shit, a box logo came out, and I saw all these people that were copying it, and I think you and like a couple other people posted, you were like, yo, way too many people are getting this, or like it was way too easy to get this. something must be up, like they must be making way too many of these. And basically, that made me not want to go and get it. And I remember when I went on the site, it was still available, and I was like, damn, like, should I grab this? But then I saw, I think it was you and, like, a couple other people saying, like, it's just way too easy to get. There must be something's up. And, dude, I remember being pissed as fuck. Because next thing you know, I see round two, like, next day. The tee is 300 and the hoodie is 7. I'm like, holy fucking shit, we could have had both. So
yeah, they I think the like Supreme partnering with the I think it was the Carlisle group. I think those guys are definitely pushing Supreme to like up their production numbers because they see how fast everything sells out. And I mean, they said before that merger went through or whatever, before they sold half the company, like the creative design wouldn't be like changed or anything like that, or the production or something like that. But I personally think like the production numbers of all the stuff has gone up. But I mean, who knows? They might just be saying that, or yeah. But the last one, I didn't really like the seam. Like I didn't know that there was a seam on it until like I think the day that it dropped or 2 days before it dropped or something like that. But yeah, I would agree that they were a little bit easier to get. Unfortunately, I still didn't get one. I was pretty upset that day.
Well,
no, I did not get one. I struck out on my own, and I think Tony thought he got a large, but somehow he accidentally ordered a small, which is like the most expensive size. So he accidentally had to come up there.
Oh, really? Holy shit! Oh, yeah, I small is the most expensive size because that's what all the kids wear, right?
Yeah, all the kids. I mean, the younger kids wear that, and then also too overseas. Like, I know this like the resale market for Japan or for Supreme in Japan and in China is like through the roof. So I mean, a lot of the people are buying the smalls and the mediums just because that's like the more typical size over there than it would be here.
Right.
Yeah, some of the small. I mean, you might have a T-shirt that's like $80 as a large, and it can be close to 200 because it's a small or something like that.
Right. And then I guess also small has the option for a girl to purchase it too.
Yeah, because they don't make any of the girl stuff or any girls' clothing, I guess.
Okay. So, I mean, kind of finishing up here, I mean, what would be on your grail list? Something that, you just haven't been able to come up with the funds or just not the right time to buy it, but something that you always have your eye on. Like mine would be like the Pink Floyd The Wall t-shirts, when he came out with that. Yours that you just really want.
My all-time grail that I'll would like to check off someday is the Nike SB What the Dunks.
Okay.
I think those are like one of my probably my top grail to have. And I mean I wouldn't even want to wear them. I just want the shoe. I just think it's a very 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 cool shoe. But like something to wear, like the new the off-white Blazers that just came out. Like I love that the All Hallows Eve one. Like I was really trying to grab those, and of course wasn't able to get them. But yeah, I would say those two, and then what else? What about you? Who you got on your girl?
What about you, Chris?
There's a festival in the 90s in Atlanta called Freaknik. I want to thrift some Freaknik shirts. If you're not familiar, just look it up. Dude. It was crazy. I had the first Yeezy, like the black and pink, like the Blink ones, and I sold them. I camped outside for them and I sold them. It was like a huge regret. I think I sold them for like $1,000. But now you can't get them for that cheap. I really want that pair back. That's probably the one shoe I've been like having on my list, but I haven't, had the funds or, the guts to pay $1,000 plus for some shoes.
It's a commitment.
Yeah, dude.
You have the Sean's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Peter had the Sean's before Sean.
No, I didn't.
I know you said him pretty early though, didn't you?
Yeah, I actually I was able to trade a baby blue box logo from I think it was 2006 to someone down in Richmond, and yeah, I was lucky enough to trade him that, and I got some cash on top of it too with the shoes, so that worked out pretty well.
Did you get him from that first early release in Richmond?
Yeah, it was one of the one of 1,000 pairs I think that they had for that came with the dust bag and like the extra patch and like all that stuff. But yeah, it worked out pretty well. I got custom vice patches made for him from Herb Juice. He did a bunch of those for a bunch of people and like that. Yeah, I love those shoes. I wish I was wearing them right now. But what's that?
You wear those a lot?
I did, and then until I got my my 500s. Like these are just, I feel like these are a little bit more comfortable on my feet.
Yeah, I saw you rocking them.
Yeah, like the 500s. Like I've worn them every day since I've gotten them actually, and just kind of really beat them up, but. It's all about the comfortability. I mean, I like the shoe, but I'm not going to wear the shoe every day that if it's not as comfortable as the one that I have on right now. Yeah. So, I mean, I'll definitely break it out and wear it every once in a while. Here's a question
he and I were arguing over earlier because he has a pair of Sean's, right? We went and got him a pair when we were in Miami for their grand opening. Sean's there, right? He doesn't get Sean to sign the shoes. Or the box. He would have gotten him to sign the box. He thinks it's ridiculous that people get Sean to sign the shoe. What's your opinion on
it? It's ridiculous, bro. Like
on the shoe, yeah. I've seen someone have it on the shoe. I would not. No, I would not say that.
Okay,
on the inside of the box or something, that might be kind of neat, but like. Right. Or something like that. But I would not wear an autographed shoe by anybody.
An example, like if a kid comes in here with an autographed shoe, like we're not going to value it any higher. And as a matter of fact, we don't want it because like it's somebody wrote on it, you know. So I'm like,
dude, yeah. At his Kick It event, someone had a pair of.
Is it Sean's signature? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. At his Kick It event, someone had a pair of.
What is it?
They were a pair of rare NMDs or something like that, and they were autographed by Kais Omar, the YouTube guy. Like, I mean, why would you have him like autograph a shoe or something that's like it's not even his shoe? You know, like, and it was just kind of odd to have them do that. But
one signature that's cool is the Virgil signature because I guess he wrote on the shoes anyway.
Okay, so like, what about like you're saying you wouldn't value it anymore. What about, and this might be weird though, is some of those first pairs of the Off-Whites that came out that's, said, what was it? I think it said off and then whoever's name, or what would it say? I think it said.
Oh, so it said like personal pair on the Jordan 1. And I mean, we have seen a pair of Air Force Ones that were autographed by him, and it just says like Virgil in quotes or whatever. And they have a video of him doing it. But it's not necessarily like a signature or something because it's just harder to prove like if he actually did that. And I mean, it would be a cool thing to have as like a display piece or something if you can, if you can afford it. But as like buying it to resell, like I don't think that's like, I don't know if that would be something that I would want to do or what would be even easy to do. It wouldn't be something like selling something like with Jordan's signature on it or something like that. But
yeah. All right. Cool. Well, I think that's pretty much it. We're going to close it out. Do you guys have anything you want to say? Any shout-outs or any, like, announcements you want to let people know about that's coming up?
Shout out to you guys for reaching out.
Shout out, for you guys for reaching out. We had actually thought, like, we were in Kansas City and we wanted to do something and we were going to call it Thrift the World. Like, we just go around, like, filming ourselves thrifting all over the country and just, like, film the car rides and the experience and just kind of do something like that. And it's funny that you guys reached out and your name was actually World Thrift.
You could definitely do that. I feel like there's not enough I feel like there's just not enough content out there. That's kind of why I start doing this. We feel like there's a lot within the community that like, just want to hear about this. There's people not in the community that are like, I want to learn a little bit more about what you guys are doing. And so, like, with these, we're doing these live podcasts, but then we record it, too.
Okay.
It'll be on YouTube.
Nice.
So I'll make sure you guys get the link to that, and you can share it with whoever as well.
Awesome. Yeah, we also have a video dropping with George Keel. He came and checked out the store, and we found a very rare Jordan 1 bread. We're pretty sure it's, like, the first Jordan 1 bread like Nike had ever made. Like they showed it to Jordan to see if he was gonna like it. To like, you know, hey, you like this shoe? This is gonna be your player exclusive shoe. It's a 1984 Jordan 1 Bred, and it's in a size 13. And the left shoe, actually, we only have the left shoe, but it's a red liner instead of a black liner. And so the only pictures that we could find of the shoe with the red liner was like stock photos. So we were thinking that like the shoe was made, you know, they showed it to Jordan and it was like, hey, I like all of this stuff, but I want the lining black. And then, you know, that was the switch that they made. So George came to check out the store, and like we did a video on that, and that is also going to be going up for auction on our eBay page, probably close to the end of the month.
Whenever we get the video.
Yeah. Whenever the video's done, we're going to kind of like do a rollout for that, and then the shoe will go up. And I mean, hopefully. Oh yeah, and we also have a very rare Nike mirror that's on our eBay page. Yeah, you want to grab it?
Yeah. All right. One second.
Yeah. So it was a Nike. It was a commemorative mirror that they gave out to the salesman in like I think it was 81 or 82. And it was for the top sales. So it's like a, you know, one of 3, I think, known in existence right now. Shoeseum has one, and a couple, I think one other guy, like found online, I think is.
Okay, cool. Damn.
Yeah, that's the mirror.
That's so sick.
That's super. That's like a bar mirror, dude. That's
Yeah.
Epic, dude. Holy shit.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's a cool one.
So from 81.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, check that out. That's up for sale on eBay, and then the shoe will be on auction. Hopefully, hopefully by the end of the month, you know, whenever the video comes out.
Yeah.
If no one buys that, you guys, the next addition to the shop should be a little bar or something.
I know, right? the thing is like this is pretty pricey. We're a little afraid to hang it up, but
yeah. Whoever buys it will get hand delivered anywhere in the lower 48 states. We'll drive it to your front door.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. We're not shipping this.
Yeah, I'm not. No, can't ship that one.
Michigan Thrift just came to see what Iowa Thrift looked like. Hi guys.
What's up, man?
Tommy Hilfiger. But yeah, anyway, thanks again, guys. We really appreciate having you.
Yeah, thank you. It was fun.
Yeah, for sure. I'll send you the link. And yeah, we'll touch base with you guys, and maybe we'll do like a follow-up episode in the future or something.
Okay. Yeah,
right.
for sure.
Hey, peace out, guys. Thanks for hitting us up. It was awesome.
Yeah,
have a good one.
I'll see you guys next time I'm in Iowa.
For
All
sure.
right. Sounds good.
All right.
Peace.
Thank you.
Just exit out of theirs. All right, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. As always, we appreciate it. And one last thing, we've been doing this new segment. If you guys find any super cool thrifted T-shirts that have like a world or something on them, we're collecting it. Send it to us. Address is in the bio on our page. So go ahead and send it to us. We'll feature you on the page and we'll give you a shout out. This week's T-shirt is from our buddy in Virginia, Alex the Human. His brand is Insert Name. So this is actually his brand's T-shirt. It's got a super dope globe on it. But we're really happy to add this to the collection. Thank you for the tee. And this actually just dropped. So if you guys go on their website, you can cop it for yourself. But yeah, it's just Insert Name on Instagram. So check them out. But yeah, send us a tee if you guys find it. We'll feature you. We'll give you a shout out. And of course, we appreciate it. Again, thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next time here on World Thrift Live.